Dear students, now I am going to discuss hydraulic pumps, which comes under module 2. So in module 2 we have already completed boilers and hydraulic turbines. So this is the next part and the last part, hydraulic pumps. So what is pump? Basically pump is used to pump the water from lower level to higher level. Okay, so we use this pump to pump the water from lower level to higher level. For example, we use the pump to pump the water from our sump to overhead tank. Okay, and also it is used to lift the water from the borewell to the tank. Okay, so now let's define pump. So pump is a machine used to move liquid through a piping system and to raise the pressure of the liquid. Okay, so what basically we do here is we raise the pressure of the liquid. So if we raise the pressure, we can lift the water from lower level to higher level. It is also a hydraulic machine which converts mechanical energy into hydraulic energy. Okay, so which converts mechanical energy into hydraulic energy. But what hydraulic turbines will do? Hydraulic turbines will do exactly opposite to this pump. Okay, so those converts hydraulic energy into mechanical energy, but pump converts mechanical energy into hydraulic energy. Okay, so let's see the classification of pumps. See, pumps are classified into two main categories. One is positive displacement pump and the one more is non-positive displacement pump. Let's see what is positive displacement pump. Positive displacement pump can operate by forcing a fixed volume of fluid from inlet pressure section of the pump into the discharge zone of the pump. So what happens? Pump means it is having two sections, one is inlet and one is outlet. Inlet is connected to the sump and the outlet is connected to your overhead tank. Okay, so what it will do, it will take the fixed quantity of water or liquid, so then it will be transferred to discharge section. Okay, so now this positive displacement pump is again further classified into two types. One is rotary type positive displacement pump and one more is reciprocating type positive displacement pump. Let's see what is rotary type displacement pump. In rotary positive displacement pump, we can move the fluid by using rotating mechanism that creates a vacuum that captures and draws the liquid. So what it will do, when it rotates, there is a vacuum, means pressure will be lesser than atmospheric. Okay, creates the vacuum and that sucks the water from the sump and captures and draws the liquid. Okay, so next, reciprocating type positive displacement pump. So reciprocating means here the pump moves the fluid using one or more oscillating pistons. There is a cylinder piston arrangement where some quantity of liquid will be taken into cylinder, then it will be pushed to delivery section. Okay, so that I will discuss later. Next, coming to non-positive displacement pump. Okay, so here the pump produces a force on the liquid that is constant for each particular speed of the pump. So what it will do in non-positive displacement pump, continuously pump extracts the liquid and it will be transferred to delivery section. Okay, now further this non-positive displacement pumps are classified into two types. One is centrifugal pump and one more is submersible pump. So centrifugal pumps, which are usually placed outside the water. Okay, so it is not placed inside the water. Hope you have seen the pumps which are placed outside the water to pump the water in your home. Okay, pump the water from your sump to overhead tank. So nowadays even submersible pumps have been used. Submersible means these pumps are placed under the water or inside the water. Okay, for example, in borewell, what we use the pumps which are to lift the water from the borewell, so that is submersible pump. Centrifugal means the pump which is placed out of the water. Okay, so with the help of this motor we can run the pump and we can lift the water. So this is the difference between centrifugal and submersible pump. So next, so for your syllabus we are going to study, one is reciprocating type and one more is centrifugal pump. There is no rotary pump, rotary positive type and also submersible for your syllabus, so only these two are there. Next, coming to reciprocating pump. So reciprocating pump, it is a positive displacement type. So you know this by the classification, we come to know that it is a positive displacement pump. This pump is single acting cylinder pump with air vessels. Okay, so you can see, so let me explain the some of the important parts in this reciprocating pump. So first, mainly we can see here, so there is a cylinder. So as I told already, in reciprocating pump there is a piston and cylinder arrangement. So this is cylinder and this is piston, and the piston and cylinder, the piston movement will be made with the help of this connecting rod and crank and this crankshaft. So what happens, this crankshaft is connected to motor. So when the motor rotates, this crank and connecting rod converts rotary motion into linear motion. Okay, so as I already told, reciprocation means linear motion. So now let's see some of the parts like cylinder. So what is the function of cylinder and what is made up of? So it is usually made up of like iron or steel alloy material, cast iron or steel alloy material. The piston reciprocates inside the cylinder. So what happens in the cylinder? Piston will reciprocate inside the cylinder. Okay, next, coming to this suction pipe. So what is this pipe? This is called as suction pipe. Suction pipe which connects from sump to cylinder, okay, through a suction valve. Okay, so it connects the source of water and cylinder. Then we can see the one more, that is delivery pipe. So whatever water drawn into the cylinder will be discharged to final destination. Suppose it may be a tank. Okay, so that is done by your delivery pipe. Next, moving to suction valve. So suction valve usually placed in between suction pipe and cylinder. What happens during suction? So this valve will open, and during suction this will be, delivery valve is closed and only this valve will be open. So what happens during suction? This will opens, and during when the piston moves from right hand to left hand, this will closes and delivery valve will open. That I will discuss later. So next, coming to working principle. It works like this. So initially piston is at left hand position, left hand of the cylinder. So inside the cylinder the pressure is atmospheric. What is the pressure inside the cylinder? That is atmospheric. What happens when we switch on this motor? So the crankshaft starts to rotate. When the crankshaft starts to rotate, so crank and connecting rod converts this rotary motion into linear motion of piston. So what happens? Initially pressure inside the cylinder is atmospheric. What happens now? Piston starts moving from left hand to right hand. Okay, so this creates vacuum inside the cylinder. Vacuum means pressure decreases. Okay, so initially it was atmospheric and the pressure decreases in the cylinder. That creates suction. So during this process this valve will open, suction valve will open, then water from this sump is drawn into the cylinder through suction pipe. Okay, so next what happens, piston starts moving from right hand to left hand. So when it is moving, it will pushes the water which is already collected in the cylinder. So now this valve will closes and delivery valve will open. So when the piston starts moving from here to here, water will be pushed through, means pushed to delivery pipe to the final destination through this delivery valve. Okay, is it understood? So now let me explain again if you need. So it consists of suction pipe, delivery pipe, suction valve, this delivery valve, cylinder, piston, connecting rod, crank. Okay, so what happens when the piston starts, when you switch on the motor, so piston starts moving from left hand to right hand. So this creates the vacuum in the cylinder, then water will be drawn into the cylinder through the suction pipe, and during this time suction valve is open. So then when the piston starts moving from right to left, the water will be pushed from the cylinder to delivery pipe through this delivery valve. Okay, so this is the simple working principle of reciprocating pump. Okay, next let us move to next pump, that is centrifugal pump. Okay, centrifugal means, I already told, it is placed outside the water. Okay, so now let us see how this centrifugal pump works. So this is the diagram of centrifugal pump. It is somewhat compared to your reciprocating pump, it consists of more parts. Okay, so the main part here is impeller. Okay, impeller, then this impeller is surrounded or molded by casing, and it is also having suction pipe and delivery pipe, and here you can see foot valve, strainer, and section flange. This is vacuum gauge and pressure gauge. This is delivery valve, delivery flange, and center, not center, the arched part is shaft. So this small circle, what you can see is, we call it as eye of an impeller. So that is called as eye of the impeller. Okay, so and this one is overhead tank. So now let us discuss one by one. So what is impeller? So as I told, it's a main part in the centrifugal pump. So impeller is a rotating part in the pump. The impeller is mounted on a shaft, and the shaft of the impeller is again connected with the shaft of an electric motor. Okay, so when it rotates, what happens? It will create vacuum in the cylinder, then it will suck the water at the eye of the impeller. Okay. Next, what is the function of casing? So casing is an airtight passage which surrounds the impeller. The design of casing is done in such a way that it is capable of converting the kinetic energy of water discharging from the outlet of the impeller into pressure energy. Okay, so it will convert kinetic energy of the impeller, what generated will be converted into pressure energy. Then by putting the pressure, the water will be pumped to higher level like your overhead tank. Okay, so next coming to this one, suction pipe. What is the function of suction pipe? You know all this. So what it will do? It will suck the water from the sump. Okay, so delivery pipe, it will discharge the water from the casing of the pump. So now let's see what is the function of this flange. There are two flanges, suction flange and delivery flange. So the flange is nothing but a member which is used to detach this pump from the suction pipe and delivery pipe. Okay, there is a nut bolt arrangement. If something happens to this pump, so what we can do, so disassemble this one and take it for repair. No need of taking the complete assembly. Okay, so now let's see the working principle. Okay, so what happens before going to that working principle, let me explain this foot valve function. So foot valve is the valve which allows only one side direction of flow. Okay, reverse is not possible. So what happens when suction is created, water will start moving from this direction. It will, foot valve will not allow water to come down. So there is a reason for this. I will explain that later. And strainer. So the strainer, this below part, hatchet part. So what it will do is, it will filter the any dust particles or some sediments which are present in the sump to avoid the damage to this impeller. Okay. So now, unlike reciprocating pump, so here we come across one term called priming. Okay, so what is priming is, in centrifugal pump, so this problem will not arise in submersible pump. So in centrifugal pump, so before starting starting this pump, so pump should be filled, so till this level, this complete impeller should be filled with water. Okay, so understand this one. So priming means the complete impeller should be filled with water. If there is no water, what happens? Even if you switch on the motor, pump will not lift water. First, to lift this, to make this lift the water, you should fill this with water. Okay, unless until if you don't fill, so water will not be lifted by the pump. Okay, so now what happens means, when we switch on the motor, so what happens? This impeller starts to rotate. When it starts to rotate, it creates suction in the casing. Okay, means suction means vacuum in the casing. So vacuum means pressure will be lesser than your atmospheric pressure. So what happens when it starts rotating? It creates a vacuum in the casing. So that results in sucking of water from the sump. So when the electric motor starts rotating, it also rotates the impeller. The rotation of the impeller creates suction at the suction pipe. Due to suction created, the water from the sump starts coming to the casing through the eye of the impeller. As I told, so water comes here, at the eye of the impeller. Then from the eye of the impeller, due to centrifugal force acting on the water starts moving radially outward and towards the outer casing. Radially, so you can see here directions radially outwards. So what do you mean by centrifugal force? Centrifugal force is, it is a force which is directed away from the center around which the body is moving. Okay, body is what? Which body is moving? That is impeller. So the force which directed away from the center. Okay, so that is called as centrifugal force. So what happens? Whatever water coming at the eye due to suction, so will be directed radially outwards towards the casing. Okay, so during this process, the kinetic energy of the moving water will be converted into pressure energy. Okay, since the impeller is rotating at high velocity, it also rotates the water around in it, the casing, around it in the casing. The area of the casing increasing gradually in the direction of rotation. Okay, so you can see here the area of the casing gradually increases. Then the pressure energy whatever generated will be used to pump the water from this casing to overhead tank. Is it understood? So this is the working principle of centrifugal pump. Okay, next let us move to next topic, so that is priming. Okay, so this priming I have already discussed it. I told where we require priming. Priming is necessary in this one, centrifugal pump. You can see here priming is defined as the operation in which the impeller suction and delivery are completely filled with outside source water for starting the pump. So as I told, So if you don't fill the impeller with water, so what happens? You are not able to lift the water due to the air present in the pump. Okay, so when the air is there, it won't lift the water. So you need to fill the impeller section till some part of delivery section. Okay, so that is called as priming. And coming to priming, priming requires that valves must be provided before and after the pump. So foot valve, what? So I told no foot valve. So coming to this diagram, what is the function of this foot valve? See, when we start this pump initially, means first, when we install new, so what we have to do? We should fill this up with water. Okay, so we should pour the water and fill up this one. So, and we cannot do this thing daily. So what we can do, place this foot valve. What happens? It will allows only water to go from one direction. So when we on this one by loading this one, so what happens? Water will goes to overhead tank, and when we switch off, so whatever water is there in the impeller will not allowed to go back to sump due to gravity. So what happens? This foot valve will stop the water in the reverse direction. So because of this one, the water will be stored in the impeller. Our impeller will be surrounded with water when we switch on next time. Okay, so this will reduce, means this will avoid the priming process. Okay, so that is the function of this foot valve. Next, yeah, you can see the foot valve is normally fitted at the lower end of the suction pipe for keeping the water in the pump. So this is the main function of the foot valve. So if we need not to again and again fill up that impeller with the water. Okay, when the pump is started, it opens to permit the water to enter the suction pipe, but closes as soon as flow stops when the pump is switched off. Okay, so this is what about priming. Next, coming to one more thing, that is cavitation in pump. So cavitation is nothing but we have seen the impeller design. So what happens here? So I told, so initially there is a atmospheric pressure. So when we switch on this motor, what happens? This impeller starts to rotate. That creates vacuum in the sense negative pressure. So pressure is less. So as we know this one, if pressure is less, usually the boiling point of water is how much? 100 degree at 1 atmospheric pressure. So if pressure decreases, pressure is directly proportional to temperature, like boiling point. If the pressure is less than 1 atmosphere, the boiling point of water is not 100 degree, it will reduces, means it may be 90, 80 or even 20. It depends upon the pressure. Okay, if you increase the pressure at 1.5 bar, the boiling point of water may be 120 or 125. So like that, if pressure increases, boiling point of water will also increase. If pressure decreases, boiling point will also decrease. So what is cavitation? Cavitation is nothing but there is this erosion or corrosion which takes place to impeller. So here, due to negative pressure, usually water comes at room temperature, like let me take 27 degrees centigrade. Okay, so what happens? Due to this rotation, the pressure here decreases. So this leads to vaporization or boiling of water when the cold water comes here. Okay, how boiling takes place? Boiling means pressure decreases. Due to decrease in pressure, whatever temperature 27 degree which comes to here will start to boil. So that vapor bubbles which are formed here, which goes in contact with this iron impeller which is made up of iron, so that leads to a corrosion or erosion of the material. So we have to design a pump in such a way that so this pressure should be minimum. Okay, and the boiling should not takes place at this point. So then we can avoid the cavitation. Okay, cavitation in the pump. Next, going to last topic. So that is differences between centrifugal pump and reciprocating pump. So here we have the centrifugal pump left hand and reciprocating pump right hand side. The first difference is in centrifugal pump it continuously discharges the fluid. So I have already told when I explaining the centrifugal and reciprocating pump, centrifugal pump continuously discharges. Okay, but in reciprocating pump there is a fixed quantity of volume. Okay, so if you go to this one reciprocating pump, you can see here. So what happens during first cycle? Let me complete. First cycle means when this valve opens, when the piston starts moves from left hand to right hand, water will be drawn into the cylinder, some fixed quantity. So means whatever this cylinder volume is there, that much has been drawn. Then this valve will closes and this will delivery valve will open. Then again it will be discharged. Next the cycle continues. Again this will closes, this will opens, again the drawn. So in reciprocating pump there is no continuous means taking discharge of water takes place. Next is centrifugal. Next difference is, so as I told, in centrifugal pump it is used for pumping high viscous fluid. High viscous means, what is viscosity? It is the resistance to offer the flow of one layer of fluid over another layer. Okay, centrifugal pump usually used for high viscous fluid and reciprocating pump is used for low viscous. Let me give an example. Water and oil, which is having higher viscosity. So oil is having higher viscosity. So centrifugal pumps are used for high viscous like oils, and it is used for water like low viscous fluid. Next, efficiency of centrifugal pump is high compared to efficiency of reciprocating pump. Reciprocating pump is low. Next one is centrifugal pumps have the problem of priming. Yes, the centrifugal pump is having the problem of priming. Priming means we need to fill the impeller with water. Then so we don't have this problem in the reciprocating pump. Okay, next, fifth difference, it uses impellers to transfer energy to fluid, but here piston and cylinder is used to transfer the energy to the fluid. Next one is, these are lighter in weight and these are heavier in weight. So what is the disadvantage here is centrifugal pumps are lighter in weight. Okay, so but reciprocating pumps are heavier in weight. Next, maintenance is less in centrifugal pump and maintenance is high in reciprocating pump. Okay, next, occupies less. Yeah, we have seen in the sixth difference, later in weight means it occupies usually less floor space, but reciprocating pump requires more space. These are easily installed. We can install this centrifugal pump easily, but to install reciprocating pump it requires, means it is difficult. Mostly used for domestic purpose and it is used for industrial purpose. Okay, reciprocating pumps are larger and bulky, which are used for in the industrial purposes, but centrifugal pumps are used for domestic purposes. Okay, so this is the about hydraulic pumps.